Hi, everybody. Good morning to you all. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you're all doing really well. Everybody's looking so comfortable, which is exactly what we want. And it's, I guess, another privilege of being able to have these sessions right from your kitchen table and right from home. So I'm already really excited for what we're going to be doing today, and I'm sure you all are as well. But you probably have a few questions, but don't worry, we're going to get through all of that. I'm just very happy to have already heard about what's going on with Barber Homes, and even had a look at some artwork. I mean, we're seeing some artwork already this morning, so this is how you know that it's definitely going to be a good start. So as you heard, my name is Sipho. I'm from Birmingham and I like to write poetry. I like to perform poetry as well. And for me, museums and art galleries are really important to actually give me inspiration. So what I want us to do today is to make the most of lots of things that inspire us, but in particular, the works of Edward Lear. We've already had a look here at some of his artwork, but we're actually going to take a bit of a deeper look into his work as well. So this is what we're doing. We're bringing this inspiration directly to you, and we're going to be reading some poetry. We're going to be writing some poetry. But we're also going to be talking about poetry, and in particular, nonsense poetry. Now, if I can just check, has anybody ever heard of nonsense poetry before? If you've heard of it, yeah, please write it in the chat or give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you've never heard of it. Nonsense poetry. I promise I'm not making it up as well. It is a real thing. Okay, all right. I've seen that there's some experts that we have this morning. Brilliant. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to you teaching me something today, actually. So that's perfect then. So what is nonsense poetry? I mean, could anybody give us a definition? I'm sure that there's people here who could. Why don't you share with some of the people around you what you think nonsense poetry is, and how you would define it, and if you want to as well, please do write it into the chat. I can already see we have funny, okay, brilliant, comical, something that's not true. Ooh, okay, I'm loving that. Any other ideas of what nonsense poetry is? This is a really great start, by the way. Like, I'm so glad you're all experts already. Okay, silly, yeah. Pretend, yeah, that's brilliant. That's a really, really good word for it. And it has to rhyme. Ooh, okay, all right. That's a bit of a controversial one, and it doesn't make sense as well. Okay, all right, brilliant. Well, keep those coming in if you have any more ideas, because we definitely don't want to stop your thought process. So keep those coming in. But what if we get into a little bit more information about what I've written down about what nonsense poetry is. So I've written that it is poetry with conclusions or events that are often so bizarre and unexpected that we think it's nonsense. So this is how I know nonsense poetry to be. There's all of these different events that are happening. Sometimes you get animals and creatures talking with each other, and it's not usually the normal thing that you would usually see. But I think there's another way to explain what nonsense poetry is. Maybe we can read an example. I think I heard somebody say, I think an example might be the best thing to see right now. So I'm going to call on our good friend, Edward Lear, once again, who had written a nonsense poem called The Duck and the Kangaroo. And I thought we'd read this out as an example of nonsense poetry. So if you're ready to hear this poem, can I get a thumbs up, please? Let me see. Yeah, you ready? Okay, brilliant. Feel free to read it along with me here. I've got it right on the screen, but I'm going to be reading it out loud. All right, brilliant. Let's go. I'm so excited. Said the duck to the kangaroo, "Good gracious, how you hop. over the fields and the water too, as if you never would stop. My life is a bore in this nasty pond, and I long to go out in the world beyond. I wish I could hop like you, said the duck to the kangaroo. Please give me a ride on your back, said the duck to the kangaroo. I would sit quite still and say nothing but quack the whole of the long day through. And we'd go to the Dee and the Jenny Bowley, over the land and over the sea. Please take me a ride, oh do, said the duck to the kangaroo. Said the kangaroo to the duck. This requires some little reflection. Perhaps on the whole it might bring me luck. And there seems but one objection, which is, if you let me speak so bold, your feet are unpleasantly wet and cold and would probably give me the rheumatiz, said the kangaroo. Said the duck, as I sate on the rocks, I have thought over that completely. And I bought 4 pairs of worsted socks which fit my webbed feet neatly. And to keep out the cold, I've bought a cloak, and every day a cigar I'll smoke, all to follow my own dear true love of a kangaroo. Said the kangaroo, I'm ready, all in the moonlight pale, but to balance me well, dear duck, sit steady and quite at the end of my tail. So away they went with a hop and a bound, and they hopped the whole world 3 times round. And who so happy, oh who, as the duck and the kangaroo. Yay! I mean, if you want to give a round of applause, go ahead. I'm definitely giving a round of applause. I absolutely love that poem. It just has so many things just happening in there. Has anybody heard of that poem before? You can let us know in the group chat if you've heard of that. I see some people are nodding, some people, yeah, are giving a thumbs up. What did you think of the poem? Anybody have any thoughts at all? Yeah, you can go ahead and talk to the people around you, and you can write into the chat as well. What did you think of the poem? Yeah, so we've got weird. I mean, I don't know if anyone else has come across a duck and a kangaroo having a little chin wag, a little conversation, a little cuppa. I mean, I've definitely never come across that myself. So yeah, it was definitely unexpected, as we've got here in the comments. I'm glad some people found that it was very good, and that it was funny as well, and also, yeah, really unexpected. Well, I am glad that you have had an example of nonsense poetry and you have an idea of it. Because like anything that you create, nonsense poetry is a world of its own, where animals and objects can communicate with each other. You can make anything come true in your own world of creation. And the fun part, I think, is seeing how other people react to it and how it makes them feel. So thank you for all of your words, telling us how that poem made you feel, and also what you thought of it. I now want to go on to talk about another form of poetry, a limerick. Has anybody heard of a limerick before? Yeah, I'm seeing some questions. I'm seeing, okay, yeah, got thumbs up. Yeah, okay. Some people have heard of it. Okay, yeah, brilliant. So some people have heard of a limerick. Do you think anybody could describe or even try to define what a limerick is, or what a limerick could be? Feel free to consult with those around you, to have a little chat with them around you. Do you think you could tell someone else what a limerick is? Okay, yeah, perfect. So we've got an example here. We've got 5 or 6 lines already coming into the chat. Any other thoughts about what a limerick could be? Okay, we've got rhyme as well. Yeah, so it can rhyme. Definitely. Any other thoughts? Okay, Brilliant. I mean, you all seem like you read quite a lot of poetry. This is brilliant. You got repeating words. You have numerous. You have rhyme. You have humorous, rhyming with numerous. A short poem with a rhyme. Brilliant. So I can see that people already have an idea of what a limerick is. And then silly is coming back up. I don't know if we're still talking about nonsense poetry, but I think it can definitely apply to a limerick here. But yeah, this is all definitely fitting well. So this is how we have defined a limerick. So a limerick usually has about 5 lines in which the first, second, and fifth line rhyme, while the third and fourth lines are shorter and share a different rhyme. Now, maybe this might be a good time to get another example. So I'm going to call on our good friend again, Edward Lear. And this is another limerick called Thermopylae. So I'm going to read this one out again. Give it a go. My clue, if you want to read this one out, is that word with the T-H-E, that is pronounced Thermopylae, rhyming with properly. But yeah, we can all give that a go and read it together now. There was an old man of Thermopylae who never did anything properly. But they said, if you choose to boil eggs in your shoes, you shall never remain in Thermopylae. Okay. So some of these, some of the words that you've said already, silly, rhymes, and definitely humorous. I think we can see it in here. But now, what you've all been waiting for, I know you've been wanting to get to this point, it is now activity time. Now for this activity, I am going to call on the assistance of our resident DJ, Becca, today, because what we are going to do, I am going to give everybody 60 seconds to write down everything, or as many things that you can see around you. So for example, I've got a hairbrush over here. I've got a pencil case. I've got a glass of water. I've got my sofa over there. So that's what I want you to do. So if you got a pencil, you got a pen and some paper, you have 60 seconds to write down as many things that you can see around you. If you can smell anything as well, or if you can hear any noises, write those down as well, as these will be really useful for when we're writing our poems later on, spoiler alert, to help us tell our stories and help them bring them alive. So I hope that's all clear for everybody. You'll have 60 seconds to write about what you can see around you, what you can hear, and what you can smell. And I'm gonna pass it over to our resident DJ now for our sound cue, please. There we go, 60 seconds, go. Okay, coming up to halfway with 30 seconds. Anything else that you can see around you? All time's running fast. Final 10 seconds. Let's see if you can make any final notes. Okay, and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You don't have to put your pen down. You can definitely keep it to hand if you want to, but that is the end of that activity there. So what are we gonna do with all of these activities? What I would like everybody to do is to write a limerick about what you have around you. Ooh. Would like to give you some help with that as well. So what I might suggest, as you might see on the screen there, there's numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. why don't you, on your piece of paper, you write out the numbers and you try to fill in each sentence. With this limerick and this poem that you're writing, it doesn't have to rhyme, but of course you can try to make it rhyme yourself. So I'm going to write about things that you have around you. Now, I'm happy to give an example myself as well, of one that I'd written earlier. So this is my poem about what I saw around me. There was a hairbrush on the table who loved to hear a fable. When their story was over, it would brush the cotton off of the sofa, but I didn't know that it was able. So that is my example. I'm gonna give myself a little. So that's my example from earlier. And don't worry, there's plenty of round of applauses to go around. But I'm now gonna give everybody 10 minutes to write your own limerick. I can see people have already started. I'm also gonna take part. But I'm not going to go just as of yet. If anyone has any questions, please write it into the chat and I'll try to answer. But yeah, you have 10 minutes. Let's see if you can write a limerick, write a poem about things that you can see around you. Add some smells, add some noises. And I'm now going to pass it over to our resident DJ for some sounds in the meantime. Everyone is enjoying the music and everyone is writing your limericks. If you have any questions at all, do let us know. But otherwise, I don't want to disturb anyone. Go ahead and get stuck in with your limerick. Wow, you all look like you're working so hard. We have 5 more minutes left. If you think you finish your limerick, go ahead and add on to it, or you can just start writing another one, or you can maybe start practicing how you would perform it. But yeah, we have 5 more minutes. Okay, everybody, 2 more minutes left, just under 2 more minutes. Okay, if you can start to maybe finish your last sentence, put in that full stop where it needs to go, or that comma if you're going to finish it later on. But yeah, if we can start to wrap up on our poems. Okay. All right, I'm gonna draw the attention back. All right then. So thank you to everybody. You all look so focused. I was like, am I just talking to myself here? Like no one's responding, but it's okay. I took it as a compliment because everyone was going ahead and writing. I'm seeing some thumbs up are coming up as well. Yeah, how did everybody find that? Was that like, was it fun? Was it difficult at all? Why don't you let us know in the chat box? Go ahead. I see some thumbs up. That's brilliant. Go ahead and let us know in the chat box as well and how you found that for yourself. Oh, that's brilliant. I'm really glad to hear that people are already finding it great. You know, because this is how we're trying to start off our Sunday morning. Oh, okay. Are we getting a little sneak preview here? That's absolutely brilliant. And thank you so much for sharing your limerick. Of course, yeah, but please do let us know what you've been working on and let us see. I'm glad people are finding it fun as well. Brilliant. That's really, really good to hear. I should have warned everybody as well. This this workshop today and what we're doing here together at this session, the time is going to fly by really quickly. So I'm glad we're all just making the most of it and having the most, yeah, just the most fun. Okay. Now, what I want to give everybody a chance to do, where you are right now in your space, as I am right now in my living room, maybe you're in your kitchen, maybe you're in your bedroom, maybe you're in your living room, maybe you're in your garden. I want you now to take a moment to read out your poem. So yeah, have a look at your poem, and what I want you to try to do is to read it out loud. Read it out loud for those around you. Read it out loud for yourself. So yeah, you've got a moment, you can go ahead and do that now. And while you do that, I'm going to read out, because I was writing one now as well. I'm going to read out the one that I was writing. So go ahead, take your time, and you can read your poem out loud. The one that I wrote was: a pencil case with a zip decided to take a living room trip. The door was its target. It slid across the carpet and shouted, "Let it rip." So that's the one I wrote. Brilliant. All right, so I think I saw some people looking above. So what I'm gonna do is give everybody a round of applause. Well done to you all. Yes, give yourself a round of applause. Yes, woo! Well done to you all. You worked so hard on that poem. You read it out as well. This is a brilliant start to our session. Thank you so much, everyone. So I hope everybody has enjoyed the session so far. We are now going to take a break. Just so we can replenish ourselves and refresh ourselves, and then we're going to come back and we're going to be even more ready. So we're going to take a 5-minute break. So take some time away from the screen if you want. Go get yourself a drink of water, and then we'll meet back at 10:41. Because why not, right? All right, everybody. See you back in 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm definitely back from a nice, refreshing break. Had a glass of water, had a look out of my window, tried to take in as much fresh air as I could. I hope everybody's had a really good break and you've all enjoyed yourself as well. Did you get any nice snacks? I hope you did. I'm a big snack fan. Definitely love my pieces of fruit as well. So I definitely had a little bit of a banana. Amazing. Welcome back, everybody. I just want to say a massive thank you to our DJ today as well, which is Becca. I'm loving all of these sounds. I really feel like it's relaxing my space. Yeah, I'm giving you a little round of applause there, Becca. Really, really lovely sounds. Really enjoying it. Okay, brilliant. So I hope you are back from your break. You're all feeling refreshed. You know, you got over the limerick. You're like, yeah, I did that. I did the limerick. Of course I did it. I can do anything now. Yes, you can. So we're now going to move on to our next activity. What we are now going to ask everybody to do is to write about 4 animals. So 4 animals, and you can choose any of those 4 animals. We want you to write a poem about the 4 animals taking a journey, a trip to the Barber Institute Museum and Art Gallery. We want you to maybe have a little think about these 4 animals have gone to the Barber Institute Art Gallery. What was the journey like to the museum? What happened when they got to the museum? What did they see when they arrived at the museum? What did it smell like? What did the 4 animals think about the museum as well? So you can pick any 4 animals. But don't worry, we're not just gonna leave you there without any additional help. So in the same way that you may have written out on your piece of paper the numbers 1 to 5, and you filled out each sentence, how about now we take it up to 10? Ooh. So write out the numbers 1 to 10 in your book, and maybe this poem about 4 animals going to the Barber Institute Art Gallery, and then you can fill it out with each sentence. Now, of course, we've got even more to give to you, because maybe it'd be helpful to just hear an example. Well, I've got one which I wrote earlier, just so I can have an example, but I'm also going to be writing a new one with you here today. So here is my examples and the animals that I use based on my teddy bears that are just over there. I have a monkey, I have a bear, I have a dog, and an elephant. So this is the poem that I wrote. I was told that a monkey knew a bear, who knew a dog who had an elephant friend. They met in a big city called Birmingham, and from here they would start a new trend. To travel not quite far to see some art, they would race to see who would get there first. The monkey climbed from building to the Barber Art Gallery, whilst the bear and the dog caught the bus. The elephant thought the train would be perfection, and that new street saw its own reflection and said, no one is faster than us. The 4 animals convened to see a beautiful building, and all tried to enter at once. But the door wasn't big enough for all the animals, so they each had to wait their turn. They got into a line, and got in just fine. Each said that this is just the start and that this Barber Institute sure has some fine art. So that's the example that I came up with earlier. Ah, is that for me? Ah, thank you. Well, there's going to be plenty more rounds of applauses for you all. So this is what we'd like you to try to do now. Write about 4 animals that went to the Barber Institute Art Gallery. If you've been to the Barber Institute Art Gallery, maybe you can try to remember what you saw, what it looked like. Add it into your own poem as well. Or you can make it up and you can create your own look of what the building will be like. So if anyone has any good questions, please let us know in the chat. As I'm seeing, I see there's a hand up. Yeah, if you got any hands up, if you got any questions, please do write it in the chat and we'll answer. And for this activity, you will have 15 minutes. I'll also be writing along with you while you're writing at home, but I'm not going to start immediately just in case anybody has any questions. But okay, when you are ready, please go ahead. Maybe start with the numbers 1 to 10. Amazing, yeah. Arla, I hope you have a nearby forest, possibly. Yeah, so you can go find the animal. But yeah, brilliant. Go scrummaging. You have 50 minutes to look for animals and to write them down. So go scrummaging and find animals that you can include in your poem. All right, DJ, that's your key. Just to give everybody a little time reminder, believe it or not, nearly 5 minutes has already gone by, which means that we have another 10 minutes left. So if you've got all your animals rummaged up and you've got all 4 of them and you know what you're writing about, if you haven't started yet, this is the time. Let's get going. But yeah, time's flying by so quick. I just want to say well done to everyone so far. You're all doing so well. You all look so focused. I can see that your creative brains are just flowing with so many ideas. But I'm going to start interrupting you and just wanted to say well done to you all so far. We have 4 minutes left, everyone. minutes left. Okay, everyone. If you would like to start wrapping up your final sentences, maybe bringing it to a full stop or a comma if you are going to finish it later on. But let's start to wrap up our final sentences. Wow, I just feel like 15 minutes went by so quick, right? Okay, how did people find that activity? How was that task for you? Okay, yeah, thank you so much for the honesty. Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, so I can see we got some thumbs up. We had some thumbs down as well, which is fine. If you want to write in the chat as well, if you want to say a little bit more about how you found it or why you found it and the way you did, go ahead and let us know. Yeah, okay. No, that's a fair point. It was a little bit tricky, right? There's so many animals. First of all, how do you pick 4? So I definitely get that. Yeah, it was hard. And why was it hard for you? You can write into the chat, or you can speak to who's around you right now. Yeah, so I'm glad you found it fun. It was a little bit hard. We can see here that it was good. And that yeah, everyone has had a go and tried to rhyme, so that's fab. Yeah, that's definitely brilliant. So that's amazing. Oh, I can see somebody just went ahead and did their own thing. They said, ignored your rules and concentrated on trying to make a silly rhyme. Why not? It's a Sunday morning, you're in your own home, let's do it. Brilliant. I can see that people were excited to have a go. Someone brought a real life sheep. We have a real life sheep here with us today. Hello, sheep. Feel free to wave at the sheep if you want. Hi, sheep. Yeah, we can see that it was really hard to get the kids to write it. So it was a really good start. Well, that's brilliant. We're really glad to hear that people have had a go. It was a little bit tricky. Yeah, we definitely understand. But this is definitely something that you can continue to practice. And if there's anything I can tell you, it will start to get not only a little bit easier, but it will start to get really fun, actually, as you're writing more of these kinds of poems. Okay, so we are going to come back to these poems in a little bit. I would now like to talk to everybody about performing. And I want to talk to everybody about how to perform these poems. So I want to share with you some of my top tips. But before I start with these top tips, I would like to share a little poem that I'd written a little while back, if that's okay with everybody. So I want to share this poem as an example of my top tips for how to give an example. And my poem is about a young person who has dyslexia. So some people may have heard of this, but it's just a little bit about this person's story. So if that's okay with everybody, I'm just going to share this poem now. Okay, so it goes. I would be the last person to say anything is as easy as riding a bike. In fact, I would only refer to such a quote when talking about swimming, because in both, my arms and legs are too much for my mind to organize at once, so I'm left alone on the sidelines, waiting to be good at something enough that I am not always last. But this is another human story, the experience of being dyslexic. And so the complexities are hard to spell and interpret, but even though they are mine, might be similar to yours, but they will always be different, because no two people were made one in the same, or three and any more. So if I tell you of my past, what are the odds of you knowing what it feels like to be different in reading, spelling, or copying off the board in class, or finding hope in maths? You see, my English and science sessions divided me from different group alliances because they had more of a reason to be with me and be in a school team. And so I was on my own dealing with such. Friends had given me so much, and I didn't mind because I found comfort in numbers. My strength was literally multiplied, and this was translated into routine steps. And now I dance my way through life, and I'd rather, because bikes are not for everyone. So that's my little poem there that I wanted to share with everybody this morning. Oh, thank you. And I wanted to share that poem because it was one that I really had to practice with performing. So you all have poems that you've written today. What you've written, one poem, two poems, four poems. So you're already off to a great start. And I know that you've already shared some of it already today, and we're going to go on to see if you want to share it on later on. But maybe you might get other opportunities to share your poems. And what is a good way to do that? So how about we go through some tips? So my tip number one is to take your time when reading out your poem. No need to rush. So I don't know if anybody else, does anybody get nervous sometimes when you have to read something, or maybe you have to share? Yeah, I can definitely put my hand up. I sometimes get nervous, but it's really good for you to take your time when you're reading out your poem or you're reading out anything else. There's absolutely no need to rush, even though you might feel like you need to. And I'm sure you can think about why it might be a good idea to not rush. People can hear you really clearly, but also you can make sure that you're taking control of all of your words and all of your thoughts. This leads me swiftly on to the second point. Engage with your audience. You can do this by smiling and eye contact. Now, when you are trying to not rush and you don't want to feel nervous, what I try to do is to look at the people around me or talk directly at the people that I'm talking to. Because I know sometimes I get scared that people won't like my poem or like what I'm writing. But actually, if you look at those people, you find that everybody's really supportive and that you can actually have a lot of fun with them. So sometimes you might read your poem and then you might stop and smile, you might wave. And then it feels like everyone who's listening is actually writing the poem with you, which can be really, really fun. On to my third point of 5 of my top tips. Take a deep breath before performing. Now this just helps with so much. There's always so many things happening within our brains. I don't know if anybody else right now, it's just gone past 11. If anyone is thinking about lunch already, if anyone's already thinking about dinner, thinking about when you're gonna play games, you know, there's always so much going on in our minds. So it's always good to take a deep breath before performing so you can focus on where you are. You can get rid of some of your nerves, and you can maybe shake a little bit as well, but it'll just help you to be really, really focused. Number 4, I would suggest to rehearse your performance and try out different ways of reading it. So I'm someone who likes music. Does anybody else here like music and listens to music quite a lot? Yeah, I'm seeing some people nodding their heads. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, music is fun, right? It's really, really good. Well, when you're writing your own poems and you're writing your own stories and you're about to read it or share it, you can actually take inspirations from songs you've heard and you can try out different ways of speaking it. You can sometimes go really quickly or slow it down, sing along with it. You can just have lots and lots of fun with it and you can just really enjoy it. And then you can make other people enjoy it as well. Now, this is my high five top tip. Have fun. Do your very best to enjoy your performance. So whatever this means for you, if you need to read your poem, shaking your hands about, if you just need to tell people a story first, or you just need to sit down and cross your legs, whatever will help you, but have fun when you are performing your poem and just really try to enjoy it, right? Why not? It's your story and everybody wants you to enjoy it. And just a little secret here for audiences, when you enjoy what you're reading and what you're sharing, everybody enjoys it as well. It's like when you're eating food and you're like, and then someone's like, oh, can I have some now? It's just like, you know, that people all of a sudden just want it. All right, I'm gonna stop there now with my top tips. So go ahead and take those for yourself and see if you can put them into practice. Now, it's your turn again. So we know that there are some very skilled writers as part of this session. And for those of you who are watching this right now, we're very, very glad that you're here with us. So we now want you to have a moment to read your poem out loud. So this could be the poem that you've just written about the 4 animals. So go ahead and have a little bit of a practice to read it out loud. Try it in different ways. Take a deep breath, go quickly, go slowly. Yeah, do whatever you want. But yeah, we can all do this together. And I also wrote a new one. So yeah, while you read yours, I can go ahead and read mine as well. But yeah, take your moment and read your poem out loud to everyone who is around you. Brilliant. Yeah, take your moment now. That's brilliant. So I can see people were reading it out loud there. You may have seen something popped up there in the chat. If anybody would like to share it, yeah, please do go ahead. But of course, yeah, absolutely no pressure to, but the floor is yours if you would like to. Amazing. So while some of you are still reading yours out, I'm going to read out the one that I've just written. I tried to take some inspiration from what you wrote before. And I was looking around and I noticed a bird and a squirrel outside. And then I just thought of a cow and a goat. So they were my 4 animals. And the poem that I wrote, there was a bird, squirrel, cow, and goat who went to the gallery, or so they would gloat. They took to the sky on a painted cloud. Wee, they screamed out loud. They dropped through the ceiling one by one. Bird, squirrel, and cow said, ow. Goat said, that was so much fun. The 3 limped while one sprung. Throughout the gallery they run. all the way down to the end, and then said, I'd like to do that again. So that's the poem that I had written. What I'd like to do now is give everybody a round of applause. You know how it goes. Well done to everybody for your work there. Really glad that everybody contributed there. Brilliant. Round of applause for you all. Amazing. So we just want to open it up now, as we are, believe it or not, we're coming towards the end of the session. If anybody has any questions about anything to do with writing poetry, performing poetry, how to take inspiration, anything at all, maybe we can help each other out here today, and I can try to answer any questions that you have as well. So go ahead and do that if you have any questions for us. So yeah, I'll keep a lookout for the chat. But just to remind everybody, this has been Barber Homes with Edward Lear for Families. And I'm very, very happy that I was working with you all. I'm Sipho Eric Ndlovu.